Hello everyone, welcome back. And what are we going to do on this tutorial, right? I was going through a couple of things, but I wanted to bring it up in this tutorial. Now, just forgot one basic thing, okay, which is nothing but our WM deployer. See, the good part is that, do you guys remember this? We had installed another integration server. See, one is BP default, okay, other one is default. Now I brought both the servers up, okay. I brought both the servers up. This is up and this is up. So which means I can log in with 5555 and I can also log in with 5554. Let's do one thing. Let's deploy the package from here to here. Okay, we have anyways seen install inbound release, okay, but ideally this is not how you will be doing it. You'll be using it with the help of a WM deployer, okay. WM deployer, that's what we are going to do it now. So in this, in here I'm going to use localhost 5554, okay, and I'm going to keep it as administrator. Oh, come on. Okay, so I've logged in, and in our Chrome we will use it as 5555. Okay, and we'll log in. So we have both of them ready. In here you can see this is BP default, this is default, okay. You have two servers. Now the intention is to get the package from this guy to here, to this server, okay. So how will we do that? First you need to log in here, do something, configure something, and then click on deploy. If you click on deploy, that will deploy to here. To do that, webMethods have given one of the best feature, which is with the help of a package called WM deployer. See this guy, WM deployer, okay. WM deployer, it has given it, but obviously we'll be not using here. We'll be using the guys UI page. So go to this, go to package management, and click on deployer. See, this is a deployer. You have to first click on the home button. That will take you to the deployment page. Let me show you. See, voila, that's it. It's completely new. I'm not done anything else. But guys, remember one thing. There's one thing I have to tell you. With this deployment, with the help of this deployer, with the help of the deployer is where I actually will be deploying the project, not using install inbound release. Install inbound release is kind of a shortcut, but this is how you actually do it from one environment to another environment. So if you can see here is a deployer section. Cool. Here is your servers. Okay, I'm sorry. Here is your servers, and here is a target group. Target group we are not going to discuss at this stage. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, and then you have logs and tools. Okay, let's click on. We are focused only on servers. Okay, servers, and we'll understand a bit of settings over here, and then we'll be primarily using the repositories. One more thing, guys, since we are only dealing with IS, not even trading network, okay, so our primary focus would be only here, okay. In future, if I believe that I have to focus on if I anywhere bring a topic on trading network or BPM, then we'll focus on this. Until then, we'll only focus on the IS part, which is nothing but this, okay. First step is that we'll look at the definition later. As usual, you know how I work. So let's click on the repository. Okay, we'll say add repository. Not repository, sorry. Click on the projects, and I'm going to say create project. Here I'm going to say as project name is POC webMethods. POC webMethods. So deploy local host to BP default. Okay, I think it's exceeded the character. I can't type it. Okay, so I'll say local to BP default. I'll give the same description. Why is a discrimination? Okay, so localhost to BP default, and in our case we'll be doing in runtime, not from the repository. Okay, definitely not a repository part. See, we're not going to create repository, we're going to create the runtime. Create. Now that creates a project. That's the first thing. See, successfully created a project. And this is also an interview question. What are the stages that you have in deployment? First is define, then build, then map, then finally deploy. Okay, that's the 4 stages we have. Right now we are at the stage of definition. Okay, not definition, we have just created it. Let's click on this. We have just created it, and if you click on this, it gives you the project, it gives you the properties of this particular project. See, dependency checking option, always check the dependencies. Okay, general project settings, enable project locking. No, I don't want to enable project locking while deploying it. Enable concurrent deployment. Yes, I want to enable concurrent deployment. General checkpoint creation, it should be automatic. I'll say checkpoint creation, I don't know, or I'll do it manual so that I can show you at a later point of time. Rollback on error, that's also automatic. Okay, so that I have the control. When if you want to roll back the deployment on error, then I have the control. Okay, if you click on automatic, both of them is not under your control. Now there are some options for IS and running into deployment. In our case, it's only IS. So suspend during deployment, trigger selected. Ports, no. Do not suspend during deployment, no. Do not suspend the ports. Do not suspend the scheduled task. Do not suspend the adapter. Do not suspend the triggers. So here I'm going to say none. So it's up to you, it's up to the business case when you want to select these kind of options. TN rules, not going to talk about it. Overwrite existing ACLs, yes. See here, do you guys remember in this POC we saw about this particular ACLs, add 2 numbers, right? See here, add ACLs, this guy, WMPOC. Okay, that's the one that I'm talking about right now. But before that, guys, let me check one thing. I think I have to deal with one ACLs. Just give me a moment. Okay, see, this is something that, let me remove this. Let me remove, add or remove. Okay, so add or remove ACLs. I'll just remove this. Okay, at this stage I don't want to remove the ACLs. And also if there are any users, this is, I'm removing this because I had deployed once before from 5555 to 5554. It had automatically come up. Anyways, I'm going to show you. Let me also remove the user management in case if there's any users. Add or remove users. Let me check that. Okay, remove this. Remove users. That's fine. Add or remove groups. I'm going to remove this group as well. This is in 5554. Okay, so there are no users. Good. There are no groups, which is good. Right. So cool. Now we are all clean slate. Now activate after deployment. Ports, yes, please activate the ports after deployment. Activate the scheduled task, yes. Activate the adapters, yes. Compile the package, yes. Reload the package, yes. Enable the process for execution. This is a BPM, so I'm not going to talk about it. MWS deployment, anyways, that also something, it's out of context. I'm going to remove this, I'm not going to talk about that. And then optimize deployment options. Also, I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to save it. That becomes my entire project settings. Now, before that, one common error what everyone forgets is that for the very first time, very first time, you need to go here, click on this particular, install this. See, click on this and install. You have to install WMDeployer resource package. See, WMDeployer resource package. Ideally, what will happen is that I'll tell you. Let me refresh this. WMDeployer resource package. This will not be enabled. Okay, this will not be enabled during the very first time. Okay, first time this will not be enabled. Okay, you will get an error while deploying it. So if you have to not get an error, you need to enable that particular package. See here, even here as well. Okay, you need to enable it. That is something that you have to remember. Okay guys, let me bring up this error. Let me show this. Right, there you go. See, this is the error. You'll get it. WMDeployer resource package might be missing on the target server. You might get this error. This error you'll get it only because if that is missing. So in order not to get that error, okay, make sure that this particular option, where is it? This, go to the ISTN, click on this and install. Now if you guys see this, this is for localhost 5555. This is where our POC web methods is running. But this is our source system, right? This is our source. Now the target is 5554, right? So which means that I need to add that here. So I'm going to add remote server alias, and I'm going to say that BP default, that's my target, host, port is 5554, username administrator, password is, okay, 1 minute, okay, MANAGE, and I'm going to say execute as administrator. I don't want to have any conditions here. Okay, maximum alive connections, I'll go with the default 5. Maximum alive timeouts, I'll give also 5. Use SSL, no, because I'm not connected to any certificates, right? So it's no. Retry server, in case if there's a failure you want to retry, I don't want to try that. So retry server, not the timeout, retry server. So I'm going to uncheck this. Now click on this and check, test it. See, test it, and it is successful because target is alive. See, this is alive. Okay, now we'll go back here and we'll close this. I'll tell you one more property. Just refresh this. Now you see BP default, and it's running on version 10.11. Even this also matters, okay, which version you're running. Right now we are deploying from 10.11 to 10.11. There might be even called as a backward compatibility. You can be running on 10.5 to 10.11 or vice versa. So just make sure that and check the documentation whether this kind of is supported or not. Okay, cool. Now the moment once you add something here, ideally what happens is that login, don't log out. Oh no. Okay, so what happens is that external server, remote servers, see, this gets added by default. If I delete from here, see, if I delete from here, see what happens. Refresh, see, it's gone. See, it's gone. So I can add a remote server alias here. Again, BP default 5554, administrator, manage, administrators. I'll take whatever options that I have and save changes, close, test, successful, refresh. There you go. See, so we have added the source, we have added the target. Oh sorry, the source is anyways there, the target is there. Now let's go to the project. Now we have defined the project properties. First is define. In the define, let's create a set. Okay, let's create a set. And here, what is the type of the deployment at runtime? I'm focusing on TNIS and threading network. That's the combined option that you get. Deployment set, it's not deletion, it's deployment. Set is deployment. My name is, the deployment name is POC web methods local to BP default, and this is deployment. Okay, deployment. Okay, and I'll say this is just number deployment. Okay, cool. I'll say create. Now if you can see, it is asking what is my source. Obviously this is my source. See, I'm saying this is my source, and I'll save it. Okay, then once that saving is successful, okay, my definition is done. Okay, my definition is done. Then click on the package. See, then click on the package. If you click on the package, you will get like this, which means your local server. Now expand this and select which package. This is my package.
And let me also try to deploy MySQL connection. I don't want this. Okay, fine. Then save it. See, if you click on save, if you click on this, then you know that it has been saved. See, you can expand this. See, expand, and you can check on this package name, package type, description. I'll say after action, after deployment, activate. After deployment, you activate it. Sync the documents. I'll say sync all the documents. Delete universal messaging durable. No, I'll save it. But guys, did you see this? It says that you're deploying this package, but there are unresolved dependencies. Boss, there is some unresolved dependency. You need to fix it out. Okay, fine, cool. Let's click on check. What is unresolved dependency? Guys, do you remember this example in the POC web methods that we are seeing this ACLS, add, create, two numbers, groups? That is what it is asking. Okay, so referred assets, local ACLs. Do you want to add it? See, there are 4 options: unset, add, exist, ignore. I'm going to say you need to add POC, you need to add anonymous, default you ignore it. I don't want this because this is for default. Okay, I can say add it, that is fine, add it. And internal also add it, save. Cool. Then what is next? It's asking for groups now. Do you want to add this group? I'll say anyways it's add, it's unset. I'll say exists, it's exists, this also exists. This you please add it, WM developer, you add it, save. Now group has been done. Now it's asking for users. I'll say add, save it. Now see, all the its dependencies has been eliminated, which is perfect, thumbs up. Now definition is done. Now see, the packages has been created. If you expand this, packages has been selected, and even the local ACLs have been selected. See, all the dependents, these are the things that are dependent as a part of this guy. Okay, cool. Next, definition is done. Now let's go for build. In the build, let's create a build. I'll say my build, what I'll say, local to BP default, and I'm going to say build. Create the build. In this build, it will check the status. All the build is successful. If you click on this, it says you can click on the report, and it will say all them have been added. The build has been successful. Perfect. Now after build is successful, if there's an error, obviously you'll get an error, or you can even export the build. So see, you can export, this will export the build to another WM. I'll say click on yes. See, it is exporting as a zip file. See, it's exporting as a zip file. Okay, you can export the build as well, but that's fine, I don't want to export it. Click on map. Now map, create a deployment map. I'll say local to BP default, so local to BP default POC web methods. Okay, create. Now obviously add a target server. You have the source defined, good, but where do you want to map it? You need to map, right? Drag and drop that map thing. Okay, so create the target server. Click on this. This is my target. Save. Come on. Okay, check there's some status as wrong. You try to add target server or a target group the same name as the one that already exists. Okay, that's fine. Check the references. Let's delete it and let me add it again. Add a target server, add. Okay, so that should be my mapping. Just let me slide it across and say check this deployment, check references. Yeah, this is fine. Check references, this is fine. These are the references which is actually not required. I have explicitly ignored it. That's okay. Let's go to deployment, create deployment candidate. So see, this is my project build. Okay, the one that, see here, this is my project build here, and my deployment map. Okay, few warnings I've just ignored it. That's okay. I'm gonna create it. Now there is a status. Obviously the status is in yellow because of this particular map. It's saying that if you click on this, it's saying that status has red. Is check the references. It says that references missing on BP default. Okay, then let's do one thing. Let's is there a way how we can add it? Okay, schedule task. let's expand. Okay, fine. I'll click on all the groups if required. See, I'm just clicking all the groups. Extended settings, I'm going to click on the extended settings. Ports, I don't need these ports. Users, schedule task not required. Save. Okay, let me check this now. I'll say add and add both. I'm even adding admin and even going to add this admin. Okay, so it's check, and I'm going to rebuild again. Rebuild, click on this rebuild. So it's done. Map, let's check this map this time. It's still the same issue. Okay, for some reason it's missing. Okay, let me delete and recreate again. Let me see if that works again. The reason is because it's missing. It clearly shows that system, this group is missing. So let me go back here and check it. User management, is it in system and my web methods? ACL, I guess. What is it? It's saying system web methods users. Okay, where is it? It's user management, web methods users. See, somewhere it's missing it. See, it's missing. Whereas here, if I go back to this guy and click on user management, even it's the same thing. See, here it is there. See, there's a group, a whole lot of group that's available here. Whereas here, there's no such thing as group. See, that's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. And we can do one thing to eliminate such kind of problems here. What is it saying? It is missing this particular my web methods administrator, my web methods user. That's okay. Let us see what is that we have to add here. My web methods administrator, my web methods user. It's not over here. My web methods, it's not even here as well. That's okay. See, my web methods administrator and my web methods user, it's in 5555. See, 5555, which is this guy, and it's under okay, this is the user that what we have, whereas that we are not able to see it. Okay, and there's for some specific reasons missing. I'm not sure why it is missing. Let me check add or remove users. It's not even there here. See, it's not even there here as well. So somewhere that particular username is getting messed up, but that's okay. Enable or disable users, maybe. No, it's not even here. So we can check that error later, but you guys got the point. While you're deploying, you encounter such kind of errors, but I'm going to ignore this at this stage. I'm going to map it. Map is completed. Then I'll go to deploy it. This is fine. I will delete it and recreate again. Create a deployment candidate, my deployment, create, and I'm gonna simulate it. If you simulate it, it actually gives you a report. Simulation failed. The reason is because here there is this particular, because it contains the following unsatisfied dependencies. So the simulation is going to fail anyways. Let us see. Let me create a checkpoint. If you create a checkpoint, in case if there's an error, you can always roll back. See, you can always roll back. See, only after creating this checkpoint you will get this option. If you don't checkpoint it, then you won't get this option. Okay, now let me deploy it. Let's see what happens. Ideally, see, deployment failed, and its simulation itself got failed because of this particular dependency. Let me do one thing. I'm gonna pause this video. Let me see if I can fix this and get back on that. Okay, thank you. Alright guys, if you can see here, I've kind of made a way how to ignore it. Seems that while we creating the integration server itself, there were certain configurations I had to work it out, but unfortunately I have not done that, but that's okay. That's anyways, I have to follow a recreation of certain activities, which I'm not going to pick it up again. I've just ignored those two warnings by recreating again from the first step. So now if you can see here, it's kind of checked in, all good, there are no reference missing. And I'll go back to the deployment here, click on the deployment candidate again. These are the two things that I'm going to select, create, and I'm going to simulate it. So simulation is kind of, again, this is fine. There are no connected to the target. That's all right. I don't mind this. This is just a message. See, there's a This is just a message, not a warning. Warning is something this one, okay, and I'm saying it's been ignored. Again, it's just ignored. I'm ignoring all those things. I don't want that. Just for a POC purpose, it's more than enough. Now this simulation will work because it's a warning, it's not a failure. Now I'm going to create on checkpoint. Observe this again. Now there's nothing here. Now just see this checkpoint. See, okay, in case if you want to roll back, you can always roll back. Now click on deployment. Let's deploy. Okay, the deployment has done with warning. That's kind of expected as well. So let me refresh this. Now there's nothing called as POC. Now refresh it. See here you have POC web methods. It got deployed. Okay, and here if you can click on this, there you go. See here WM POC. Okay, cool. Now we will go and check here under ACLs, which we had removed it. Just remember that, right? Where is ACL? Oh, it's always confusing. Okay, so see here. Now there's ACL. User is also created. We can check on this user. See, the group has also been created, and even user. So that's how you work with WMDeployer. Now, where do I get the documentation from WMDeployer? As usual, WMDeployer documentation. Web methods. Okay, so this should be fine. Any one is fine. Just take the latest one. I think this is a 10.5, the latest one here. Not now, we'll see it. So here, if you can see, it's a 330 page document, and we have only covered the IS and TN part. Not sure where it is. A lot of things that we can cover. Okay, IS and TN. Let me see that. If this thing called as IS and TN. Okay. Yeah, see, IS and TN. This is what I've covered. Okay. If you add a trigger but not the service that's invoked, the service is unresolved dependency. See, this is what we have covered. Okay. And there's one more thing that I also want to bring it up along with this. Let's go back here to 5554. Sorry, the WMDeployer. So this is our IS and TN. I'm done with this. So my project is done. I'm just going to delete it. Okay, rollback. Let's see if its rollback is possible. Okay, let's click on this. Come on. Okay, let's go to the deploy part. Let's see if I click on rollback and see what happens. Rollback succeeded. Is it true? Right click. Let's see, refresh. Okay, cool. POC is lost. This is perfect. Let's have, what about the user management? There is WMDeployer is still there, but there is no user. See, there is no user. WM developer is still there, but there is no user. Let's go to the ACLs. WM POC, that ACL is also not there. Perfect. Rollback is also been done. That's cool. Okay, now I'm done with this project explanation. Make sure that you delete. Once it's done, I'm just going to delete it. Settings, just these are the common settings that you have: audit logging settings, dependency checking settings, and certain general properties. Okay, see, for example, ISTN, triggers none, whatever. This is a common settings. Once you set here, once you set in the settings, you don't need to set it again. Okay, password store. I don't want to create a password handle at this stage. So even though if you want, you can create and keep it. I have not personally used anywhere as such called as password store. I have not used this, to be honest. This is something I have used it, and even I have not come across anyone using IS and TN target groups. If you click on target groups, say I am going to create IS and TN target group. So I am going to create this. Okay, create, and you can select that. See, you can create these two as one group. Okay, save it. Now if you can see here, now these two have become as one target group. Both of them have been created. Now let us see if this is possible. If you click on the projects, create a project, I'll just give a dummy thing, runtime, and I'll go save. I'll go to define, create a set. I'll just leave it as it is, and here select the source. This is my source. Save it, package. I'm gonna select POC web methods. Okay, I'm gonna ignore everything at this stage. I don't want to do anything. Okay, build, create a build, create my build map. Now here see, add deployment map, create deployment map. Here, do you want to say right now you have this source 5555, correct, and you want to say deploy to 54, 53, 52. Say you want to deploy all these to in this particular servers. So you create this into a group called as target group. Okay, you create this into target group. This becomes your group G1. In our case, we just clubbed these two as a target group because I don't have any other servers. Now if you club this as 40, 54, 53, 52 servers, now then you select the target group. Okay, if you select target group, so here it will deploy to both the servers. See, it will deploy to BP default and local. That's the use of a target group server. Hope you guys understood it. Anyways, I'm going to delete this. Again, target groups for BPM, target group, whatever you have for servers, here is the target group. It's one and the same. Audit logging, anyways, that's something we're not going to bring it up. Import build, there is no builds to import. If you have created a thing called as project, let me see if this project itself is a build. Let us see this. Okay, I'm going to save it. Do you have anything in build right now? No, there's nothing in the build. See, there's nothing in the build. Build comes up once you go here, click on this and say you define. Let's create a set, define, then go to build, say create a build. We say create a build, create. Now my build is there. Say import a build. No, there is nothing build. When the build will import, see, this is not an export, this is importing a build. Guys, remember this. We always get confused by this term. Here we are trying to import a build. The build that what we had created here, this build, this we need to import it. Okay, this build will be imported here, something like this. How gonna do that? We're going to see in the next tutorial because it's quite a lengthy video right now. It's almost covered close to 30 minutes. I'm going to break this video right now and I'll pick it up in the next video. Until then, take care. Thank you.